I've noticed something recently that I wondered if you've noticed too. Threads, which is the app from Meta that's supposed to take on Twitter slash X, it seems to have woken up a little bit. You might remember back in August, we did a study showing that after great fanfare when this thing launched in July and everybody was on Threads, that usage had just plunged. The engagement rates were down. The big brands who were on there weren't really doing anything with it anymore. Well, in the last couple of weeks, as I get on there, I've started to see some different things. I started to see people saying things like lots of new followers this week, and so many of them. And this one got 1,100 likes on a post saying I have a lot of new followers. That's solid engagement, which was definitely missing from the Threads platform before. And this lady too, I somehow got over 1,000 new followers here in the last couple of weeks. I just saw so many of these posts. Another one, I had 2,100 new followers in the last 3 days. How is everyone finding me? That to me was like, why is this happening? What is happening? Should I start paying attention to Threads again? Well, I also at the same time started noticing general engagement going up. So this post, which I've seen on Facebook, I've seen on Instagram, it's a sort of feel good post. But on Threads, it got 2,400, almost 2,500 likes. This is an account or a platform that was getting almost no engagement. And then this one, which is about a skateboarder who did really well, not a big mainstream thing, but almost 1,300 likes. I'm like, there's something happening. There's more engagement happening on Threads. What is this? Another one here, just massage techniques, 10,000 likes. So as I wondered what it is, I went to Threads and I started searching, and an article today about Threads downloads are moving back up as X is struggling. I'm like, that's interesting. In fact, when you look at the article here, which was in TechCrunch, you see that the daily downloads, which have been about 350,000 Threads app downloads a day, are now up to 620,000. That's not a little increase. That is significant growth since around Thanksgiving. And the engagement I'm seeing is being seen by others. This was a CNN reporter said, hey, are there any other journalists on here? I want to make sure I can, converse with you, reply with your account. And more than 2,000 replies from Bloomberg, NPR, the Boston Globe, all these. And I think the summary from that reporter saying it feels like Threads is just getting better every day about sums up what I'm starting to notice myself. The big challenge with Threads when it first came out was it had no chronological feed. So Twitter was really the place to go when you wanted to find what was happening in the news. Facebook and Instagram do what's called story bumping. So you'll see a post from 3 or 4 days ago if it's still getting engagement. Well, Twitter, you could just see what was the newest breaking news. Well, people are starting to say, well, Threads is getting pretty good at that. You remember that OpenAI drama where Sam Altman was fired and then he was hired by Microsoft, and then maybe the board was going to be fired, and then Sam Altman was back and Microsoft now had a board seat. All that drama came out in around 48 hours, and Threads held its own keeping up with this OpenAI drama. So that's a big deal in terms of the utility of the platform versus all the other places that you can post content. So Mark and Elon, you might remember they were going to have a cage match, and then I don't know, it's kind of sounded like Elon should, chicken out a little bit there, which is probably smart because Mark actually practices this stuff. The cage match is happening on Threads versus X. I think Mark is kind of punching Elon in the face. So, and Elon's also interestingly punching himself in the face after this reply to a post that he sent in November happened. Big advertisers said, that's it, we're out. Walmart, Disney, Apple, and all these others. It's going to cost them about $75 million in revenue from this lost advertising, according to the New York Times. So there's a big advantage to be had by Threads, and it seems like Threads and Zuckerberg and Meta is willing to be patient, willing to give Threads time to grow, willing to give Threads the features it needs to grow, and really take advantage of what's happening on X, whether that's their stated objective or not. So the question that I saw in this Columbia Journalism Review article, I think the answer is yes. Right now, Threads is definitely winning the war. We've seen, sadly, recently that real wars take turns that we can't predict. That could still happen here, but I think what's more likely is something more analogous to when we saw MySpace decline. I think Elon has done enough damage now to X/Twitter, including the stupid name, that it's going to just decline. And if you remember MySpace falling off the zeitgeist, not being cool anymore, from the time that everyone sort of decided that MySpace was over, it was still a top 10 website for about 5 years. So social networks die slowly, but I really think X is on that path at this point. And I think Threads is worth another look. I wouldn't put all my social media marketing budget in it, but I think it's worth another look. Something to keep an eye on.